Hello, online pipe community. Ethan, Parsimonious Piper here. Today we've got another parsimonious pipe and a little bit of alien theater. But first, let's take a little look at that pipe. This is a Lord Davenport apple. In it, I have some Drucker & Sons Devil's Own. Still enjoying that, thank you, Pat. Good stuff. Now, why am I smoking a Davenport? Why do I own a Davenport? Some of you will recall that I did a video that highlighted the tie between Lord Davenport and Pipe by Lee, using a patent for a magic stem. Both companies used it. Both companies also used Pipe by Lee's stars on their stems with those crossover pipes. And that lasted from the 7-point star era across into the 5-point star era. So whether it was just a little bit of overlap or a longer collaboration, nobody's really sure. Both companies have disappeared. But it is an interesting pipe, and that fly is going to drive me crazy. Let's take a closer look. Here you can see the stamping is very nice and clean from the side, and looking at the stem, not too bad, but you can see how well it cleaned up in the lower picture. Let's take a tighter view of that stamping, because we will come back to this. Patent pending. Moving on to the top of the bowl, you can see this is not just lava. This rim is actually charred. The briar is damaged. Not surprising in a pipe that's more than 80 years old. This one was charred. Looking at the bottom, you can see how well that cleaned up. There's still a little bit of darkening around the rim. I just didn't want to misshape the rim of this pipe too much. So I did top it a little bit, but I did not top it deeply enough to get rid of all of the char on that front side. You can see, however, that the stem and this aluminum, I'm assuming, band in the middle cleaned up pretty nicely. Got nice and shiny front and back. Now, in case you're wondering what the internals looked like, here's a before and after shot, and you can see that magic stem mechanism was pretty grimy, came out pretty clean. Okay, so what's the big deal about that patent? Well, recall, that stamping said patent pending. Now, let's take a look at this patent filing. Notice the patent number in the the right-hand corner is the same one that is on this pipe. Notice that this was filed in 1938. This patent was actually awarded in 1939, which means that in all likelihood, unless this pipe was manufactured in the first 40 days of 1939, this pipe was likely manufactured in 1938. For me, that's kind of significant just because I don't know with Lee's dates, but with this, having that patent pending indicates the exact year it was made. So for me, that's pretty cool, just to be able to know and to have that connection with the Pipe by Lee brand, that the later patent, the 1939 patent that was then awarded in 1940, is the one that was used on the Pipe by Lee and Lord Davenport crossover pipes. But just to have this earlier one, I forget whether it was Pipedia or Pipe Fill that said they had no evidence of a Lord Davenport pipe having been manufactured prior to 1943. Well, I need to send them a picture of this because this is evidence of 1938. So 5 years before they had any knowledge of them. Pretty nifty, I think. More importantly, it's actually a decent smoker. This little gimmick mechanism didn't last terribly long. Nobody else picked up on it. Well, because it doesn't really improve the smoke or doesn't improve it all that much for the complexity and I'm sure the cost of having to manufacture one for every pipe you sell. It is a good smoking little pipe though, and especially if you throw something dry in it so you don't really have to worry about the goop that this little mechanism is supposed to help you alleviate to begin with. Alien Theater. Yardism's question this week. What 5 movies would you include in a space capsule that's being shot into outer space for some alien culture to view and get some idea of who we are? As many people have noted, I'm not entirely sure I want to be represented by Hollywood. However, we'll play this game with one little modification. I do not believe that there is sentient life outside of our solar system. Notice I didn't say intelligent life because I'm not sure there's intelligent life inside our solar system. But we are at least sentient beings. So I thought, well, what's a little more plausible to me would be, what if some future generation of humans were to find this capsule out in space and not have any knowledge of Earth origins? What would I tell them through movies about us? Well, I would start out with the classic History of the World Part 1. It covers all of the basics, does so in a humorous fashion. After we've covered basic human history, I would have to stay with the same production crew and include Blazing Saddles and show just exactly how the West was won, because that's important too. Now, to show this future generation just how savvy we were, I would demonstrate our grasp of time travel by including Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Fourth, I would demonstrate our deep philosophical understanding of life's major questions with Monty Python's Meaning of Life. And to cap the whole thing off and to show them the utter insanity of our current society, I would probably include my favorite horror movie turned documentary, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Because we are living through that right now, and the insanity can't be more, I don't think, clearly depicted. Those are my 5 movies. Yes, obviously a little tongue-in-cheek. But I'm not entirely sure you can find fault with any of them. With that, light something you like. Maybe it's an 84-year-old pipe. Oldest one I have. Enjoy your afternoon.